Ever get that feeling? Like, you know there's more potential there, more energy you could harness if you just knew how.
Oh, definitely. It's a common thought. And today we're looking at some, well, really ancient ideas that suggest the key might be in managing energy we already have.
Exactly. We're diving into Taoist techniques, specifically around controlling sexual energy. And these aren't new fads, right?
Not at all. The sources we looked at trace these practices back potentially 5,000 years in China. So, yeah, they've been around.
And thanks to our listener who shared the materials on this. Our mission today is to unpack these methods, understand the why behind them, and see what might actually be relevant for, optimizing ourselves today.
Right. And the core idea in these texts is this really direct link between what they call sexual potential energy, which is seen as more than just procreation. It's like a fundamental life force.
Okay.
And your overall strength, your effectiveness, even your mental resources. It's seen as this potent energy source you can work with.
Okay, so how do you work with it? The sources mentioned three key techniques, didn't they?
They did. We've got the exterior blocking, or the three fingers method.
Uh-huh.
Then there's the 9 powerful rapid contractions while retaining your breath. Quite a mouthful.
Yeah, sounds intense. And the third?
And the third is the contraction of the buttocks. Seems simpler, but we'll see.
Okay, quite a mix. Let's start with that first one, the three fingers method. Sounds pretty direct.
It is. The sources say it's from China and supposedly quite easy to learn.
Easy in concept, maybe. It's about physically stopping sperm loss, right, by applying pressure.
Exactly. But the timing is crucial.
When do you do it?
The instructions are specific. Apply pressure a few seconds before you think ejaculation will happen, and importantly, after withdrawing.
Okay, and where exactly do you press?
It's described as the spot between the anus and the scrotum. One source called it an energy gate, which is quite evocative.
The gate.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you press? Is it just one finger?
No, it's specific. Use the 3 longer fingers of the right hand index, middle, and ring.
Ah, okay.
The index and ring fingers kind of stabilize the urethra on the sides,
Got it.
while the middle finger, slightly bent, presses directly on the urethra itself to block the flow.
Wow, that's very precise. Does it require a lot of force?
Apparently not. The sources say medium force. Your fingertips are strong enough so you don't need to, clamp down incredibly hard.
Right. And how long do you hold this pressure?
You maintain it before, during, and after those muscle contractions that happen with ejaculation, basically until you're sure it's not going to happen.
And the whole point of this blockage is what? Where does it go?
The idea is that it redirects a large part of the seminal fluid back into the seminal reservoirs.
So it's less like stopping and more like sending it back internally.
Exactly. It's framed as recirculation, not suppression, keeping that vital energy within the system.
Interesting. Using physical action to override an automatic response. You can see parallels there.
Definitely. Okay, shall we move to the next one? The 9 contractions.
Yeah, the 9 powerful rapid contractions while retaining your breath. What's the idea behind this one? It sounds like a workout.
It kind of is. The purpose here is to actively absorb the energy that's building up towards ejaculation. It's an internal management technique.
How does it work? What are you contracting?
Okay, so you perform 9 quick, strong contractions of the perineum muscles.
Down there, right?
Yes. And at the same time, you clench your jaws and make fists, all while holding your breath after a deep inhalation.
Whoa. Okay. Jaws, fists, perineum, holding breath. That's a lot happening at once.
It is. The source calls it the Great Ascension.
Ascension, because the energy goes up.
That's the idea, yes. Visualizing the energy moving up the spine. The sources say you can repeat this sequence up to 6 sets of 9 contractions until the urge passes.
But the goal isn't just hitting a number, right? It's about regaining control.
Exactly. Control is key. Completing all the sets isn't the point if you regain control earlier.
So physiologically, what's supposed to be happening with all this clenching and breath holding?
Well, the theory presented is that the sexual energy gets diverted from the nervous system pathways
Okay.
and goes into the muscles you're contracting so hard. Holding the breath is thought to interrupt the nerve signals frequently.
Huh. Like giving the nervous system another job to do, distracting it.
That's one way to think about it, yeah. The sources also mention that genital glands tend to enlarge as you approach ejaculation,
Right.
and these contractions are said to help reduce that swelling and tension by, drawing off that excess energy.
The timing within those 9 contractions matters too, I bet.
Oh, absolutely. Short, rapid intervals are emphasized. If you pause too long between them, the effect is lost. It has to be quick.
Makes sense. What about the breathing part? Any specifics there?
Yes. The inhalation before holding shouldn't be too rushed or too slow, allowing energy flow. Then holding the breath itself is what weakens the ejaculatory impulse, according to the texts.
So it's this coordinated effort breath, specific muscles, all designed to push the energy flow upwards against its natural direction.
Precisely. Up the spine, countering the downward release. It's this deliberate redirection that's central.
It really makes you think about how focused intention can interact with bodily processes.
It does. It's quite profound when you consider the detail.
Okay, so we've had the external block, the internal upward redirection. What about the third one, the contraction of the buttocks? Seems almost too simple after the last one.
It might sound simple, but the sources stress its importance. They point out that the glutes are the body's largest muscle group.
True. Big muscles.
So, a powerful tool for control. The action itself is just a strong contraction of the buttocks. Like if you were sitting, it should almost lift you slightly.
Okay, I can picture that. And why does this help?
Well, there's a link made between good muscle tone in the buttocks and overall vitality. The idea is that flaccid muscles let vital energy leak out, whereas toned muscles help retain it.
Retain energy. Interesting concept.
Yes, one of the body's two basic energies, they say, the other being the one lost through ejaculation. And there's an analogy to pain. Just like tensing muscles can actually reduce the intensity of pain signals traveling through your nerves.
Right, like bracing for impact.
Exactly. The same principle is applied here. Contracting those large buttock muscles is thought to interfere with and weaken the ejaculatory nerve impulse. The muscles absorb some of that nervous energy.
So by squeezing your glutes, you're essentially creating an interruption in the nerve circuit between the brain and genitals, maybe at the base of the spine.
That's precisely the mechanism described. It interrupts the signal, preventing it from reaching the final stage for ejaculation.
It's fascinating. Such specific, targeted physical actions aimed at managing this very fundamental energy.
It really is. It shows a deep, practical understanding, or at least a model of how the body's systems interconnect.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the three. We have the three fingers method, the external physical block, then the 9 rapid contractions with the breath hold for internal redirection upwards,
The Great Ascension, yeah.
and finally the buttock contraction to interrupt the nerve signals.
That's the gist of the techniques outlined in the sources you shared. They all point towards this idea of not just letting sexual energy dissipate, but actively harnessing and redirecting it.
It's less about denial and more about cultivation, maybe? Using that potent energy for broader vitality control focus.
Exactly. Which, ties back to that interest in efficiency and optimizing potential we talked about at the start.
It definitely offers a different perspective on where personal power or capacity might come from. Not just pushing harder, but managing the energy you have more skillfully.
It does. And maybe that's the final thought to leave with our listener. How could this core principle, consciously redirecting energy, apply elsewhere in life? When you feel overwhelmed or need more focus, could techniques inspired by this kind of thinking, maybe not these specific ones, but the principle, be useful? What if managing energy, not just expending it, is key?
What if the key isn't just more input or output, but better internal energy management? That's definitely something to ponder.
A fascinating thought indeed.